seemed to flow. I met the woman. She met me. We both liked each other, and we agreed to this. But, of course, the nature of me and the nature of many people is to second-guess ourselves.
Right.
And I had two jobs at the time, and one required me to be up in the wee hours of the morning delivering newspapers to stores and such. And it was hard work, but I was willing to do it because we were newly married a year and a half, and we were trying to save up for all the things that couples want. So one night I'm out, and I'm on this road, and there's no one around, and I didn't expect there to be anyone around. And it had been, this question had been weighing heavy on my heart. God, is this the way I should go? Is this something I want, or is this something that's supposed to happen? And at one moment, I looked down, and I was struggling to put this big bundle of papers in this machine, and I looked down, and laying in the dirt right in front of the machine as if it was a present was this pristine white shoelace. And I picked it up, and it had Sesame Street characters all over it. There wasn't a drop of dew on it. There wasn't dirt on it. I don't know where it came from. It looked like it was just put there moments before.
Wow, a pristine single shoelace with the Sunny Days character on it. Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, yes.
I mean, that's just the thing that would indicate to moms and kids, like, hey, this is for you. How special the universe put a perfect message, a little piece of synchronicity right in front of you.
That's true. And I remember praying, dear God, I know I'm not supposed to ask for signs, but please send me a sign anyway. So there you go.
Well, I think we are absolutely allowed to ask for signs, so I'm so glad that you were bold in your request and put that energy out into the universe. And then there was this magical symbol as you're delivering papers, a clean shoelace, and all of us know that shoelaces on children are never clean. So that was from the Lord. That was from a divine intervention right there.
It was brand new. It wasn't used. It looked like it had been carefully taken out of a package and laid down. There was not even any dirt on it, and it was on a dusty old trail.
Wow. So you see this synchronicity, you're getting a confirmation, but you said something that I thought was really important. As we humans do, we second guess ourselves when we know we might be needing to shift or change directions. And you had this synchronicity, you asked for the sign, you were brave and bold, and then you were quiet and you were listening and waiting for it to happen. But was there anything else in the process of this adoption that caused you to know that it was the right move for you? Or did anything else float up from your past that gave you confirmation that this is something you should be going ahead and doing?
At the time, no, but later on, yes. We forget things. We later put two and two together. I can remember about 10 years prior, I had been with a friend, and I had went to see a psychic that I didn't know, and it was in a town far away, and it was just a lark. It was when I was finishing up college, and it turned out that this gentleman was very, very accurate in predicting many things in the future. And one of the things he had said to me, and I wrote down copious pages of notes, was that it looked like I would have one, possibly two children. And he got this really puzzled look on his face and kept saying, there's something strange about this birth. I don't know what it is. And later on that floated to the surface of my memory. And yes, there was something strange about the birth. In fact, when we went ahead with the adoption and my son was born, I was able to attend his birth. So he had two mothers in the room when he was born, his birth mother and his waiting to be loved adopted mother.
Oh, that is so sweet and so interesting. I also love what you said there about forgetting things that we know, forgetting things that we've been told or things that we've learned or heard very clearly in our past. And then it comes full circle. And that was a real full circle moment. And yes, that was a very unconventional birth. That was something a little out of the ordinary, especially probably for the time that he's predicting it. That wasn't happening every day. Now it's very normal, but yeah, you were a pioneer.
That is true. And I did receive a lot of uncomfortable vibes and looks from people that did not approve of a private type of adoption. They weren't sure what to do with it. They didn't even think it was a good thing for us to meet. And even the nurses in the room at the time, I could tell they weren't real happy with this.
Wow.
But who cares? You know, it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. And what's interesting is I have met your son and I have met your granddaughter. You have several, but I've met the first one. And it's uncanny, the resemblance that your son has to you. It's uncanny. I mean, spitting image, it looks like your granddaughter is a mini you, down to the long hair and everything, and the little kind of impish way she has. And I can't believe that these people are not from you directly. So even though people kind of poo-pooed it or looked at it or looked down their nose at you, didn't the universe know what it was doing? It was absolutely meant to be.
I agree. I have to laugh when you say that because, yes, my son looks so much like me and has a lot of the same physical attributes of my family that I have actually had to argue my way into getting people to believe that we are not blood related. My father was a redhead. My son has this big red pirate beard. He's hairy all over like Daddy was, like a big teddy bear. Yeah, there's definitely something at work there.
Definitely something at work. And what I love that's at work is November 23rd is National Adoption Day. And I just think what a lovely other synchronicity. So for all of you people out there considering making your home a place for a beautiful child to grow up, you know, take a cue from Terry and take a chance and be still and listen to that synchronicity. Make sure it's the right thing for you, but listen to that because you never know how you can change your life, which I'm sure your son changed your life infinitely, or how you can change the life of someone else, you know?
That's true, and I always taught him that he was adopted, and even when he was little and didn't understand, I made sure that he understood that it doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish.
I love that. I love that. It doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish. That is such an important message for, I think, anyone listening, because we all have concerns or doubts or worries about maybe our origins. That's life. Nobody's family is perfect. No beginning is, you know, a perfect start or launch into the world. It matters where you finish. And, you know, in that vein, Terry, is there any other favorite quote or personal saying that you think would be helpful to our listeners, that's helpful to you in your life?
Yes, there is. I love George Washington Carver. He was a botanist. And one of the quotes that I love of his is, I love to think of nature as an unlimited broadcasting station through which God speaks to us every hour if only we tune in. And I use nature to tune in when I'm confused or if I want to really get the clarity and experience the synchronicity. I find myself, my feet know the way, even if my brain doesn't. I find myself going outside. I don't go in the tangled wood with snakes and mosquitoes, but I'll find a quiet spot in the yard or something to that effect and ground myself. And if you're quiet, God will speak to you in many, many ways.
Wow. I could not have asked for a better final quote and segue, which I don't think you even realize you've done, because what I'll be speaking about today ties into Indigenous people of America or Native Americans and how they connect and use the earth to tune in. So thank you, angels, and thank you, synchronicity, for having us line up. That was not planned, guys. That was an organic moment. And you'll hear if you stay tuned in, continue to stay tuned in. Terry, I just want to thank you so much for coming in and being vulnerable and sharing that story because, again, it isn't always it's not a conventional story, but I believe it will be so helpful. And I have to ask you, if our listeners want to get in contact with you or ask you any questions or follow up with you, is there a way that they can do that?
There is. I first wanted to say thank you. I don't always share these personal things. I'm a pretty private person, but you have turned on your charm and made it so, and I am glad I did. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you came in.
If someone wants to contact me, I can leave a phone number and an email. My phone number is 321-345-9113.
Okay, that's 321-345-9113. 9113.
Correct. And I can also be contacted online through the internet at dreamrios@aol.com. Dreamrios meaning to me River of Dreams. That's DREAMRIOS at AOL.com.
Dreamrios@aol.com. Thank you, Terry, for connecting with us today, sharing your energy and bringing your insight. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure having you on today.
Well, thank you so much. God bless.
All right, guys. Wasn't that great? I love Terry's story. I love how she tapped into the synchronicity of life. I love how she listened from something as kind of maybe offhanded as treasure hunting, literally treasure hunting on the beach with her partner, to attracting the child that she knew she wanted and knew she was meant to have, but didn't understand the logistics of how that would play out, considering her fertility issues and considering what was going on with her partner. It's just really amazing to me. I really believe that everybody has a story. Each one of us possesses insight into this thing called life. And where we may not connect the dots as humans, the universe is always obliging with assistance of all kinds, gently spurring us on till we get it. And I want to tell you this, experiencing synchronicities is one of the many ways that we are lovingly communicated with. And this happens to me. I've noticed over the years that it happens in about 4 different ways. And it's a divine guidance that happens. The first kind of synchronicity that happens into our life is like a confirmation. So you're consciously wanting something and heading in a certain direction. You're putting your belief, your thoughts, your feelings and actions in a direction, and you're doing it positively. So this is how it shows up: through songs in your head, numbers, people coming into your life with just the right message or words for you. It will almost always feel as though the universe is mirroring to you information about the path that you're in or on. And what this will feel like to you is similar to me to like driving down the road and getting a row of green lights. Has that ever happened to you where you hit that like bank of green lights and your life feels like you're the only one and the world is opening up and everything is in cahoots with you? Green light after green light after green light. The world is just opening up. That's one of the ways, confirmation. The next signal is soul guidance. And this is where things show up in your life that have nothing to do with what you're consciously focusing your attention on at the moment. Nothing to do with what you're thinking about or what your mind is focused on. These synchronicities have, I'm going to emphasize this, 0 to do with the vision that you're holding for yourself. And that can be confusing because you think, well, aren't we supposed to focus on what we want and then we attract it? But I want you to remember that we come in and we all have a soul intention. Our soul is here for learning. Our soul is here for growth. And our personality, self down here in our mind and body is all about reconnecting with who we really are. Our soul's objective in this body is to figure out how we can contribute and how we can follow our highest perspective in the world. So these signals are always showing up in your life to wake you up or to shake you up or to call you into a new direction. And that can happen when you're not even thinking that that's what you've been focusing on. The third type of signal is one that I really enjoy. This is my favorite one, the warm hug. This happens when you feel as though you're in some type of challenge or the world has beat you up. These synchronicities crop up at a time in your life, and it's purely about support. They're all reminders about how much you're loved, how much you're supported. It's the universe's way of giving you a hug. There are different ways that this can happen. But one of my favorites is through songs that pop up in your head. For me, it's Bob Seger or Metallica's version of Turn the Page. I've had so many times in my life where I've been at a crossroads and that magic song drifted up. I knew it was time to turn the page when it drifted up. It was also bittersweet, like a culmination for me of my first love. Those awkward moments when you know a relationship is winding down, but you're both holding on. And I remember being in the mountains of Asheville, camping near Chimney Rock. And we both knew it had been a tense night of figuring out what our next move would be, neither one of us really wanting to let go.